Hi, everybody. It's 11:31. I'm a minute late. We'll go ahead and start the meeting and we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God.
Liberty and justice. Play ball. Go for
Play
it.
ball!
Here we go. All right.
Play ball!
All right. What would we do without you? Okay.
I don't know.
All right, well, today is June 10th. I'm gonna start our meeting. We have a couple of people here joining us in the audience, and I wanted to see if anyone's here for open forum. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. Are you here for open forum?
I am here for open.
Come on up, roll up to the microphone or something. Either roll up here or roll over here.
Come over sit with me, John.
Oh, I can't pass up that opportunity.
Oh, Joe, look out.
No, it should be Lucy to watch out.
Oh, watch out.
Well, since I retired from the board a couple of years ago, this is my first physical meeting with the board. And I'm only here to say a few words about this person right here. 100 years ago, when she interviewed for the board,
100 years.
she came across like, yes, I want to help the seniors, and I will help the seniors. Well, she's gone from being unanimously appointed to the board to the selectmen appointing her, to a board member. I think you were vice chair, and then
Secretary at one point.
chairman, a jack of all trades. And since then, she's done a remarkable job under rather difficult circumstances. And I just want to say thank you. Whoever's going to follow you has enormous shoes to fill. With due respect to Austin, I think you've been the best chairman that this board has ever had.
Oh, I don't think so, but thank you
Oh,
for
no,
that.
I think so.
I second.
You second it,
Is there a motion? I'm just kidding.
but just to say thank you.
Well, that's very nice of you, Joe. Thank you very much.
I think you've been spectacular.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I'm gonna miss you.
Your very kind words. Thank you.
Austin,
You know, Joe,
Oh my gosh, there's more.
when I told you last Friday, when we were having coffee together, that I didn't wanna say anything, it's because I never wanna speak after you. Okay, 'Cause I'm always not in a good to do that, and I wasn't going to. Katie, until yesterday morning. I received a phone call from a town, he's a mayor. And we had worked for this town before, and they asked if I might provide him with what our company considered to be key job dimensions for a leadership position. So up at that point, I had no intention of addressing this board, and then I said, I really would like to say some things to Katie about what I view as key job dimensions. And Joe, I really hesitate to follow you at any time because you're so succinct in things that you say and on target. But I just want to say this, that when I talked to him, I had to think and call him back last night. I said, here are 12 key job dimensions that I feel that a leader must have and have demonstrated. I gave him 12, but I got 5 for you, and I'm just going to list them and not discuss what they are. But when we assess people, we would rate these key job dimensions on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being the highest rating that you can get. So the very first one is personal responsibility, and you certainly have taken personal responsibility in everything that you've done here, and that's true. Initiative, again, 1 to 5, you came here and just took charge and addressed issues that I wasn't able to address, nonetheless. Tenacity, I think you stay with something that you want to start out to get accomplished or get people to accomplish what you did. Organizational sensitivity. It's not easy to have organizational sensitivity in a volunteer organization that serves with paid people or for an entire community. It's very difficult to do it. You get another 5. Okay, and then oral and verbal communication to get another 5. I could probably go on for all 12, but I just wanted to let you know all the things that we do in terms of key job dimensions. Those are 5 that just truly stood out to me, and it's sincere when I say that's how I feel about what you've done. So thank you for everything.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So what is that?
That's, it's actually hard to follow with the meeting now.
Well, if she wants to stay, we'll have to retract everything.
Yes.
All over again.
We're looking at these things again.
I really didn't expect it, but thoroughly appreciate your very kind words. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our last meeting. Well, my last meeting, sorry, not everybody else's.
All the announcements are the same.
Yes, so all the announcements are the same. We'll start with those quickly. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. There are several volunteer opportunities at the Council on Aging. I'm not gonna name them all, but if you do have any interest, please reach out to Holly, our director, and see what is available and what may suit you well. And in order to reach our advisory board, if you can't find one of us in the building, we have an email address, which is coa-ab@kingstonma.gov. All right. And secretary report. I actually forgot to print it for you guys, but I know you, did I send it to you? Did I actually, now that I think of it, I know they had it from before, yeah. So, anyone have any questions about the report from May?
I'd like to make a motion
Very good.
to accept the secretary's minutes for May 11th, 2025.
Anyone want a second? Maureen's making a motion to accept the May secretary's report.
I didn't see it, did you?
It was by email.
You want something?
You could,
I will second that.
okay? All in favor? All in favor?
I
All right. Actually, I was just double checking our form, so we do have 5. Okay. I'll just. Yeah, bear with me for a minute. You see. Okay. All right, moving on to our first order of new business. Kathy, would you be able to, or interested in, updating us on our aging dementia? Anything to update us on?
You know what, I'm gonna let Holly, I'm gonna read back to
Sure.
Holly, but I will say it was a great meeting. It's the beginning of the survey, you know, the questions were asked and we got into it, but I think it was a very, very productive meeting. And I'm sure Holly has more to offer.
I do have it in my director's report, if you wanna wait.
We can do that, sure, but yeah, we can wait, so we'll table that till then. Board of Selectmen updates. Deb is, we know, well, so Deb and Gail, Gail isn't able to join us today, but Deb has been appointed officially through the Board of Selectmen's meeting as our associate member. So thank you, Deb, for stepping up and being willing to do that. That is effective immediately because it was an open seat. Gail's membership was also approved through the same meeting. Her membership will be effective July 1st. When my seat officially vacates on June 30th. You guys will be, if you haven't already, you'll be contacted by the clerk's office, either by letter or by email or possibly both, there's some online training you guys have to do,
She
Perfect.
got sworn in yesterday.
oh, good. Hooray, then we're good to go. So good. Code of conduct update, so I put this on the agenda, but I wanted to just double check, I had the most recent code of conduct, I think my notes said it was from April. Yeah, but I think we already had it, so I already had the final version.
What's the date on you?
Well, it's not printed on here actually, but. It's actually,
It was.
yeah, no, I have it, I have the last page here,
It was voted and approved September 24th
right, okay.
of 24.
See, that was October 22. So Holly has updated this and we,
So what changed?
it was voted on at the September 24th meeting by the select board to approve that additional paragraph.
The
By the
paragraph that I
town
haven't
council.
read, so I'm wondering if, so what I'm wondering if what happened is I updated it. With the right paragraph and didn't change, I'm curious if I didn't change the date, but either way, let's use Holly's version,
This
because
is,
it's the one. But not, the paragraph, in the event that an individual who's been on permanent suspension by the Council on Aging. Board and has had that suspension upheld. May, after a period of 1 calendar year. From the date of their suspension, petition the Council on Aging. To reconsider their permanent ban, that's the language, that's the only language that changed, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, I think that, I believe that I had this right in my computer, I just didn't update the date, but that's fine, either way. This is right. Okay. Very good. And for anybody that's listening, the code of conduct in standards of behavior is a document as you come to start, joining activities and doing things at the COA. This is a document that every member of the greater public that comes here agrees to and signs. And ultimately, we hope we never have to use it because we don't want to have to, but it's here in place. So it is something, this is not something specifically for our board or it's for every member of the greater public that comes in. That's what we're talking about.
Can I just mention something, please, just to go back to the Board of Selectmen updates, regarding Kathy and I. We are to be reappointed at the next select board meeting, June 17th.
Yep.
So we haven't been reappointed.
Yeah, I had it on here, but didn't have
Okay.
the date. So yes, your meeting will be June 17th. We don't expect that there'll be any issues there. Lisa.
Unless they did mention a couple of times that they have a heavy load, so I don't know if they would get bumped because they've got so much going on, I don't know. Handle it. If we get bumped, what happens?
Lucy can tell them they can handle it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, so anticipation is that your terms that are ending June 30th will in fact be renewed and just roll right over is the anticipation. Okay. All right, actually, I'm gonna borrow one of these open meeting books now that I passed them all out. I don't have a penny.
Okay, that was a moment.
Sure. Sure. I have a digital copy, I don't know. All right, so the next thing on our agenda is open meeting reminders, and when I went online to double check, and this is really just a reminder for everybody, so open meeting law is important in any town, board, people that are appointed or elected. When we're in a forum like this, where it's a public board, everybody has to abide by this. And this is really just a reminder of that. This is the most recent version of the last time I passed this out, there was a version dated from 2018. This version is 2023. I did not see any changes of any substance in the document as I compared the two, but I figured why not have everybody have the updated one. The main thing, I'm gonna boil this down to a couple of things as you read through this, but the main point, we will have a new board member coming on. We've obviously got a new associate member. The main thing to remember is giving notice, so for whoever the new chair is going to be, making sure you follow the rules about giving, when to give notice and doing that in an appropriate time frame, so that the greater public knows when we're meeting and what we're discussing. That's the whole point of having the agenda. So there's rules in here that dictate why we have to do that.
And they're talking about posting.
Posting, yeah, notice meeting for the meetings, you know, so that's kind of like one of the highlights that I wanted to go over. I mean, the whole thing's important. Everybody should read this and kind of refresh their memory and say, oh, that's probably why we do this, and that's probably why we do that. But, you know, one of the things that sometimes people in general fall, you know, trip up on is conversation amongst each other. So we are all friends. We're all board members, but before we were board members, we were friends, and before we were friends, we were members of the greater community. But this will outline and remind you that you don't have to stop being friends, and you certainly don't have to stop talking to each other, and you certainly don't have to stop sitting together at the lunch table. The thing that we can't do, there's a term in here called deliberation, which is what it is. If at any point in time outside of our meeting, a majority of members are discussing a topic that should be under the purview of the board, then that would be called deliberation. You know, we're having a side agreement is happening that shouldn't be happening. Now, one-on-one, no issues. One-on-one, probably still no real issues. The trick is, if it becomes a majority of people at some point in time, a majority of people at some point in time have now had some version of this conversation with each other. Now deliberation about a topic that should have been in this room has taken place outside of this room and outside of the public. That's really the biggest flaw that I think anybody is at risk of making. So it's just a reminder, you know, so ways that this gets tripped, that people can sometimes get tripped up. Person A talks to person B, and then person A decides to call person C, and then person A sees person D at the lunchroom, and so on and so forth. So now 4 people have had a conversation about something that pertains to the board. Right there would technically be a violation. So I guess really it's just a reminder to yourselves that you need to, if something's if conversation's starting to go down a path where it feels like it should happen here and not out there, it's on yourselves to stop the conversation. And say, hey, we really need to table this, and let's have the chair bring this up and put it on the agenda. And now we can have a conversation amongst the board about whatever it is that you're talking about. Because violations can happen. Sometimes they can happen very innocently. And there's information in here on what could possibly happen if there's a complaint against you, and you know, nobody wants to go down that path. So this is really just a reminder to everybody that we just have to be cognizant of what's happening, you know, what we're doing amongst ourselves, and what you might even just get caught up in by mistake. It may just be as simple as, hey, I was talking to so-and-so and she mentioned this, and I'm gonna go talk to so-and-so, but I ran into you, and now, you know, you've got that chain link that's connected you, and it's a majority. So anyway, I'm not gonna go on, but does anyone have any questions about that? I mean, I know you're relatively new to the board. Obviously, Deb, in your position, you wouldn't have been exposed to this either. So does anyone have any questions? Maureen, any questions from you?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I just need the new copy. That's
We
all.
have one here for you. Yeah, so next time you
Okay.
stop in, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, so good. And even for me, it was a nice refresher to go like, oh, that's why I do this. That's why we do this. That's why this, that's why that. So now we all have a nice fresh copy of it, okay, to read through. All right.
Maybe the selectmen and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
About the same-
Everybody, this is a state guide. This isn't even a Kingston guide. This is a state guide. So everybody in any sort of board or nominated position or elected position, that ultimately their purpose is to serve the greater public, has to abide by this in the state of Massachusetts. Okay.
So open forum has its guidelines too.
Yeah.
As well as not discussing an item at the meeting that's not on.
That
the
might even
agenda.
be in here, I'm not even sure, it probably is in here. But yeah, open forum itself would have its own set of guidelines. So for people that haven't, been on the board for a long period of time, open forum is a time for the general public to come in and bring their thoughts in to us and can bring stuff to our attention. We often cannot respond to the things, potentially cannot respond to the things that are brought to our attention in open forum unless they happen to coincide with an agenda item. So, should somebody, if somebody had shown up today and wanted to discuss the code of conduct with us, they were here for open forum, then they can we can discuss it then, or we can discuss it when the agenda item is here. That is part of the purpose of having people come, is should the chair want to recognize them, they can have a voice in the topics that we have on the agenda. But if, if someone were to bring something in open forum here, it happens a lot at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, really. People bring things in front of the Board of Selectmen, and within that meeting, they can just take their information, but can't technically respond to them because it's not on the agenda. They can choose to put it on the agenda next time, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how that piece works. And, there's lots of people to be able to use for resources throughout. And some of this stuff is tricky. Some of it's really not, but, there's resources, Holly's resource, anybody at the town hall's resource. I'm happy to continue to be a resource if people have questions about something. Make sure I have Lucy in my phone. I can spread the law. Just kidding. Okay. Any questions? We're good to move on? All right. The next thing on our agenda is absentee rate of board members. So, this is really just a topic to talk about and think about too. In our, policies and procedures and our bylaws, actually, there's information that talks about how frequently or infrequently we need people to show up. This board, can only be functional and, get things done when the people who have committed to being on the board continue to be here for the board. And we have had a few members that have had, it doesn't necessarily matter, unfortunately, I hate to say it this way, it doesn't matter what the reasons are, that people haven't been able to join us continuously, but we've had some members that have had some challenges. And I don't want to ignore the fact that, continued absences, I'm not talking about 1, 2, or even maybe 3, but we have some members that have been upwards of 5 or 6 within a year's period of time. Missing half the meetings is a challenge for the rest of us, just as much as it might be a challenge for that person to come. So, I'm really just throwing it out there for everyone to kind of take personal responsibility for their ability to partake. Okay, and if you feel that there's an inability for you to continue, if your absentee rate is going to go down for a reason, we should address that. It should be addressed by the board. And we have ways, Maureen's on Zoom right now, so we have ways for people to be able to participate if they can't physically make it. But it is very important that we have the people that have committed to the board keep that commitment. And so moving forward, I'm going to ask, and I know the rest of the board wants everybody to be here in one capacity or another. They need to be able to commit. And if you don't think you can commit, I would ask whoever, ask you to bring that in front of the board and go from there. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about that topic, which as uncomfortable as it might be?
I have a question.
Please.
if a person or persons cannot attend and do not notify us of the reason, what is our recourse as a board? What can we do to make it known?
Well, and I don't even know if a reason matters. Let's see if I have. I'm sure somewhere in this binder I have my bylaws.
So it looks.
I have all the meetings in here. I think that really we'd have to go back and look at bylaws specifically. It spells out how many, I mean, we've been lax on how many. But it spells out how many. I think it's 3. And
I believe it's 3 consecutive times that a person is out.
it could be Maureen, and
Yeah,
I did not bring an actual copy. It looks like I don't actually have my copy.
it has to be 3 in a row or 3 in a length of time.
Three, 6 months. 3 in a row, non-consecutive.
As a matter of policy, regular attendance is expected of all members. In the event of absence of any member for 3 meetings within a 6-month period of time. So not consecutive, 3 meetings.
Right, okay.
Except for reasons of health or extenuating circumstances as duly reported to the chair in advance of the council meetings. Or regardless of whether such absences occur during overlapping terms of office, the council shall request resignation of that member through the selectmen. So there's your recourse.
So we would have to write a letter to the selectmen.
Presumably what would happen is the board would take a vote on whether or not they wanted to request the resignation of a member. Based on the guidelines that are in here. Okay. And then ultimately, just like everything else, anything that we vote on, gets kicked up to the selectmen, okay? So, so that's the paragraph. I am on the 3rd page, it's Article 6, COA board member duties, and that was letter B. Okay? So again, for me, it's just a reminder for you guys. But there is, we've been lax on enforcing this. It's going to be up to the board moving forward if how you guys want to proceed. And there is information in here that allows you to address things if you'd like to address them. Okay? Thank you for having that. Appreciate it. Any other questions?
My next comment is, can we vote on that today or do we need to wait?
I mean, it would fall under the purview of absentee rate of board members, so we probably could if there was somebody you wanted to discuss.
Well, if you have the attendance,
Mhm.
you might have the numbers in order. When and who would entire meetings. Okay, so
Yeah, I just don't wanna jump into it, but I think it's necessary at this point.
I'll go back and make sure the attendance.
I don't have a printed copy, but I do have the record.
I think There. We have. a rough draft.
Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the way I'm getting it. So Kathy, what is your concern?
I don't have a concern, I just think that we need to follow through on it. Where do we begin? Do we talk with Holly with the information? Do we do it as a board? I don't know.
From what the bylaws said, it would be you discuss it as a board.
We discuss it as board.
Send it to the selectmen.
Right.
Okay. Alright, so now my next question, do we wanna do it now? Do we wanna wait until next meeting?
Well, that's a question for the five of us that are here.
Yeah, might as well do it now.
Okay.
So now you wanna make a motion and everything, right? We can discuss it?
Well, we can in a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, we can discuss it. It's on our agenda. Absentee rate of board members is on our agenda, so we can discuss it. Based on the attendance record that Dawn has been keeping for us as secretary, it does look like we have, we have two members. Mary Harriman has been out 6 times.
This year,
Since
Yeah.
July. So from July through June, that would be our year, July 1st through June 30th is our year. This is her 6th absence. We have Joan, 1, 2, 3, 4, Joan is 5. I know she was attempting, she had a doctor's appointment today, she was attempting to sign on Zoom, but she was unable to make it. And then there's only sporadic ones for a few other people, 1, 2, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, so. We do have two members that,
well, we have two members, excuse me, well, we have two members, and we start from today.
what do you mean?
In
Start.
other words, when we have two members that are the same, can we start from today and give for the rest of the year and see how they do?
This is all for open discussion, I mean, this is not for me to decide, this
We're-
is,
We're going by fiscal year, which is July 24 to June 30th.
yeah,
this year.
July 1 of 24 through June, so for that fiscal year, we've
Mhm.
had, two members that have had 5 or more. So, the answer to your question is, nothing has to be done. It can be monitored, you guys can, you can decide to continue to monitor it and see how things go. I mean, nothing has to be done. You have the ability, we have the ability through the bylaws to make a recommendation of resignation, but nothing has to be done. And that's why we're having this conversation, is to determine how everybody else feels. There's 5 of us here, and unfortunately, the 2 people that we're discussing are the 2 that are not here. And so, you guys have to decide if you want to do something, make a recommendation today, or wait and see what happens over the next few months. I mean, that's the prerogative that the board has.
I would like to see us reach out to the 2 members and ask them if they want to stay on, or do they want to resign?
Sure. I think that's fair.
Give them an option to give us an answer and just monitor the situation,
Sure.
but they know that, we are aware.
How do others feel about that approach?
I think
I
that's,
like that one better.
You like that approach as well?
I understand there's extenuating circumstances, but they need to be called
Sure.
to our attention, and we just need commitment.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's a fair approach as well. I mean, it's been something that's lingering out there. We're having the discussion, and I'm happy to, reach out to both of them and ask them if what their intentions are, and if they would, if they want to continue or not.
Feel better about signing or staying on.
Right. Yeah, I think that's, like I said, I think that's actually a very fair approach. So there's no reason to vote today. We don't need to do that. There's nothing vote worthy happening. But I'm happy to reach out to both of them. Okay. I won't really have an avenue to report back, but I can send it to Donna as secretary and vice chair. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just a copy? All right. All right. Anything else before we move on? Okay.
I think that's-
Reorganization of the board, and voting for positions. Hooray. So, we have a new member that we know of coming in July 1st. Taking over my position. The positions that we would be voting for would be effective July. I'm gonna throw this out there that should you guys, and I'm saying it you because ultimately it's going to affect everyone else that's here, much more than it's going to affect me. Should you choose to wait or want to wait until July, until you have your new sitting board with
Everybody active.
Gail coming in and being an active member, we have the ability to postpone the election. It doesn't have to happen today. And the reason would even want to consider doing this is if, I can't be nominated for anything. Gail coming in could be, but she can't be today because she's not effective today. So because her term doesn't start until July 1st, she would not be able to be nominated and or in turn potentially voted in unless it was next meeting. I did confirm that with the clerk's office. So I'm gonna put it out to you
That
guys.
goes for me and Kathy too.
Yeah.
Well,
We haven't
actually-
even been reappointed yet.
Yeah, I think with you guys, we could probably carry that over, but because you're active members, but we can operate on the same assumption if you wanted to, but I specifically was only discussing, new member coming in and whether or not that person wanted to have, or whether that person or the board wanted that person to have a role, one of these positions.
And hopefully we have an answer from the
Right.
people that
Right,
we're questioning about their attendance, they might be available.
Right. They may be available at that point as well. So I think it could be reasoned that potentially waiting until July for the election could be something that you guys might want to do. But I'm throwing it out there to you, to the four of you. On whether or not you want to delay.
I would like it to be delayed.
Okay.
We have a full seated board and answers from the participants that are having a difficult time meeting the attendance
Sure.
requirement.
So Kathy, would you like to make that a motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we're gonna do a motion from Kathy to delay the election until the July meeting.
Second.
Okay, thank you, Donna. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. All right, so I'm gonna continue the conversation about reorganization now that we know it's being kicked to I'm just gonna remind everybody of responsibilities. I'm gonna take your, did I receive your bylaws? Sorry. I'm sure there's a copy in here, honestly, there has to be a copy.
We believe you.
So I wanna just take another couple of minutes to tell everybody the responsibilities of the three positions, which are not ominous. And I'm finding them. Yeah, board officer duties. All right, so over the course of the next 30 days, everybody can take, some thought in how or if they may want to do one of these, or who they think moving forward could best fill these roles. So the chair shall preside at all meetings of the board. He or she is responsible for arranging a time and place to meet, setting the agenda in conjunction with the director, appointing and supporting all committees, working groups and their chairs, and be an ex officio member of all committees. The chair acts in concert with the director to carry out COA policies to ensure effective communications. I will say that last line is really ultimately the responsibility of every board member, not just the chair, meaning carrying out COA response policies and ensuring effective communications. That is something everybody should have, and we do have. So effectively, the chair organizes the meetings. The chair could be, as many kudos as you guys gave me earlier, it can be argued that I'm not necessarily the most organized, but it just requires somebody to have the foresight to bring topics that from a past meeting forward, if those topics weren't concluded, reaching out to people like I always do to everybody and say, hey, do any of you have topics that need to be on the agenda or you'd like to see on the agenda? Reaching out to Holly and doing the same. It's just organizing and preparing for the meeting. And then here, when we're in the meeting, doing this. So there's nothing special about calling the meeting to order. There's nothing special about following the agenda. And as you know, for 2 years now, I have no greater decision-making power because I'm chair than anyone else in this room. Every single member of the board, unfortunately, except for Deb, who doesn't have a voting position, but has a voice. Deb has absolutely, as the associate member, has a voice in the room, just doesn't have a voting position. So the chair brings amongst itself no greater authority than any other member. It's just looking for somebody that is willing to put, a couple hours in a month to be organized. Okay, so that's just a reminder of that position. Vice chair, during the absence or disability of the chair, the vice chair shall exercise all the functions of the chair. And when so acting, shall have all the powers and subject to all the restrictions of the chair. There you go. So a vice chair is there to pinch hit, to use a baseball reference, should the chair not be able to preside, okay? And then secretary. So the secretary is responsible for taking the minutes of the meeting and distributing them at least 3 days before the next meeting. Don't hold me to that. Where they will be voted upon. After acceptance by the board, the secretary will submit the meeting minutes to the town clerk to be published online. He or she will also answer all correspondence and assist the committee chairs with meeting administration as requested. In the event that neither the chair nor the vice chair shall attend a board meeting, the secretary will preside over the meeting. So, A, B, C, okay? So that's what the 3 positions entail. Because we've, and again, there doesn't necessarily have to be more conversation about who or how or that can be for your July meeting. But we do have one piece that we have to kind of recognize and make another decision upon is there'll be no official chair in place starting the meeting in July. Nor will there be a vice chair technically in place, or technically a secretary in place. So today, I think it would behoove us to make a decision as a group to allow somebody to start and run the July meeting so that the positions that you guys vote on would actually take effect in the August meeting. I think that makes sense, so that everything, whoever this is, has the ability to prepare and ultimately run that meeting. Okay. Thoughts?
Can I volunteer?
Yes, please do, because I was coming in.
You can definitely volunteer.
No.
So,
No, you can't. Well,
Donna, I'll make a motion. To allow Donna
No.
to run. The July 1st, the July 9th. July 8th meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
all right, so you guys are set up, okay? You're set up to hit the ground running in July. And now amongst everyone here and, you know, pass the word to our other members, but I'll be talking to them anyway. Reorganization will happen next month and we'll go from there.
One question. I preside and we have agenda items and the number one would be election of officers.
Sure, I would suggest it would be the first thing to do,
Now-
yeah.
Once they're elected, it becomes effective in August.
I think you could discuss that in the meeting, but you could say effective immediately, and then that person, you know, for the rest of the month of July could take over. Or you could outline how you guys wanna do that when you're doing the vote, you know, do we want this to be effective immediately? And,
They need to be sworn in.
right, no,
So they
well,
can.
yes, sworn in as a board member. Not sworn in, and we don't have to be sworn in a position,
Everything be active.
Yeah.
So-
Sworn.
you know, this is,
Oh,
yeah, so,
Yeah.
I mean.
I don't know what I was.
Gail will need to be sworn in to be a valid member, sitting member of the July meeting, no matter what. But we don't get, positions don't get sworn in.
Yeah,
Okay.
I knew that.
Right.
Yep, no, that's
I was
fine.
thinking.
So we elect our offices
Mhm.
and we can make it official for August.
You can make it official,
Say
effective
there was
whatever
an
day that
election
you guys
the chair-
decide.
The chair would preside in August.
You could
And I'm
make it that way.
interim chair for July.
Yeah, make it that
What
way.
about secretary?
We actually
So I can.
could address that now as well too. Yeah, so we've got a chair. Do we, is that something you wanna try to do both, or is that,
I can do what I've been doing.
okay?
It was a little help from my friends.
And Zoom, and the recording, a little help from the recording too. Is everyone okay? I mean, we should probably take a secondary vote to allow Donna to be secretary for July as well.
Yeah.
I'll make
Yeah.
a motion as
A
well.
little help.
Maureen, you wanna second that one too?
I second that one too. Yep.
So
I think, Lauren, you should be the secretary. You got your.
Excuse
Are we all in favor of allowing
Kathy,
the secretary? for-
watch it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I.
all right. Does anyone have any other concerns? Any other concerns about how things are gonna operate in July? Okay,
Mm-mm.
so good. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Yay.
Let's
Talk about your director's report, please.
So, excuse me, everybody has a copy of well, I guess, sorry, this should say May, director's report for the June meeting. It's just kind of broken up into different sections, so. For programming, on May 30th, we relaunched the Kingston Triad Committee with a meeting here at the center and a visit from the Plymouth County Comfort Dogs. We were joined by District Attorney Tim Cruz and 3 comfort dogs and their handlers to discuss the program and its positive impact on the community. So if anyone's unaware of that program, they should really.
That was great.
I'd actually love to learn more about that program and what they, what they do and what they're willing, do they come to homes? Do they just go to hospitals? Do they, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
Cool.
It was good. It was a fun one. Last week, we held our summer kickoff party. We had music from that 60s band, cheeseburgers and chips, and each guest received a treat from the ice cream truck. The Friends of the Council on Aging generously sponsored the band and the ice cream truck, and we had fun. There was dancing, there was
Oh, boy.
singing.
I say dancing.
There was
Are there pictures?
There are pictures.
There's photographic evidence.
And I was waiting to call 911 and I have an outbreak.
It
funny.
was a blast.
It was a blast. And I just say it was a wonderful time. It was loved by everybody. I've never seen it so happy in there for the longest time. It was great.
It was wild.
Thank
Wild.
you so much for all the hard work to everybody.
This Thursday, we'll be hosting a Father's Day luncheon. The Friends of Council on Aging will hold a special raffle during that event, much similar to what they did for the Mother's Day event that we had. Our new assistant director Stacy has been working hard to add some new programs to our lineup, including educational opportunities, trivia and games, and exercise classes. So you'll see
What's your
some
last name, Driscoll?
Driscoll. You should see some new stuff coming up in the next couple of months. So our Asian Dementia, Livable Kingston Working Group update, we met on June 2nd. We had 9 people attend, including Kathy and myself. Joanne Zigmund from OCPC led the meeting via Zoom, and we reviewed the survey, making changes and suggestions specific to our needs. So she had a draft survey essentially that OCPC uses for most of their communities, and they tailor it to certain areas that you may want to focus on for your specific community. So there were a couple of things that we changed, some minor edits here and there, so she's going to edit the survey, incorporate our changes for the next meeting. I had a discussion with her yesterday, a phone discussion, about just sort of the timing of the survey launch, but that's something that the working group will talk about, so everything is on track. It's a energetic group, and they do have a lot of really good input, and feedback,
Awesome.
and they're engaged, and so
That's exciting.
it is exciting.
It's very exciting.
So it'll be. moving
Engaged
on.
and committed is probably the most important aspects of
Right,
getting this moving forward. That's great.
Yeah, and the age group is wide range.
Yeah.
it is,
Which is
So
awesome.
it's so different perspectives is also,
That's awesome.
the age and the backgrounds of everyone,
backgrounds.
so it's exciting when it's all coming together.
how, is there a idea of like roughly when you think the survey might be ready?
So initially it would be the beginning of July, but the group is hesitant to do it that early. They wanted to wait till more of like end of August, possibly early September, so we're gonna try to push it a little bit further out.
Great.
You might get better engagement.
Yes.
After vacations are over and.
Yeah, Joanne kind of indicated that that's typically when they do it, is the summertime, because people are out, they're at the farmers markets, they're at the beach, they're at different community
Yeah.
events. So we're gonna maybe try to split the difference and not necessarily, I think something that was on our radar was the fall town meeting, but that's the end of October, and that would be too far out. So we're gonna maybe push it back a little bit, but not totally screw up the timeline of the OCPC contract and the project itself.
Sure.
Which doesn't have too much time to go.
One of the mentions was possibly putting it into the kids' welcome package back into school, for the parents that they have to do.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying, there's a lot of great ideas.
Yeah.
Of how we can get it out there.
Great.
The cafe continues to do well. 345 meals were served in the month of May. That doesn't include the 84 for our Mother's Day luncheon, so those are just the other breakfast and lunch.
That's a huge number. That's great. It's a
Doing
huge
well.
number.
We have a new van driver that started last week. His name is Sean Lee. He's a Kingston resident, and he joined us as a part-time van driver. He has begun internal training, taking rides in the van, learning manifests in our reporting system for documenting mileage and drop-offs and pickups. He'll attend GATRA training next week, and then we still have 2 more van driver positions to fill. And this is just a reminder, which does apply to our board, but the general public, that beginning June 30th, the hours of the townhouse are changing. They're going to a 4-day work week, so they're gonna be closed entirely on Fridays. So I just spelled out the hours for you: Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 AM to 5 PM. Tuesday, they're still staying open late, so they're open 8 to 6, and then on Friday, they're closed. So, something that we will have to move back is our posting date, because the clerk's office won't be there on Fridays. So we'll have to get our agendas posted by Thursday, 11 to figure that 48-hour timeline, so I can work with Donna.
And this is effective,
June 30th.
June 30th.
Which is a Monday. It's a 6-month trial to see how it goes, but for at least through the end of December, it will post on Fridays.
Excuse me, so it will still be the same, given that July 4th is holiday on the Friday.
Well, on the
So
holiday,
our
we'll-
agenda item, how will it affect it?
That's a good point. So it actually has to be posted the Wednesday before, and I'm away that week. So you and I have to discuss that.
So Wednesday would be the. Second,
Second,
so it has to be posted by 11:30. July 2nd.
for the July meeting, yes, because on Friday holiday.
Actually, so we did get an email this morning, which I'll make sure, and then, to have a meeting on Tuesday, July 8th. For the 4th of July holiday, post by Thursday. I'm not sure, that's right, I think because that doesn't give a full 48 hours at that point. I think we've got Friday in between, you know, so yeah, so it says, even though the email says post by Thursday the 3rd. I think it would be better to have it on by Wednesday, because I don't,
I'll double check.
Yeah.
We're away that week of the.
The first week of July, yeah.
Okay.
You wanna come? Okay, good. That's all I have.
all right, awesome. Thank you. It'll be interesting to see how the townhouse hours work. As somebody that does business in town, I'm a little hesitant about never being able to access anything on a Friday.
The trial period till.
Yeah, they're, I've been seeing their online services, you know, things that can be paid and renewals and things like that, so. And they're,
Research is always the gap, from somebody in my position, not my position here, somebody in real estate. Needing to be able to get research from different departments. Is almost completely void on their online services, and not just in Kingston, in most towns. So it's actually been, it's a thorn in some sides.
Start complaining, okay?
I'll start complaining for you.
6 month trials.
That's good. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. Okay.
You have any chance?
I don't really have a report per se. I just will say a few words of, gratitude that you folks have allowed me to be part of the board, that you've wanted me to be here, you wanted me to, begged me to, I'm not sure which, run the meetings. No, and it's been a wonderful 9 years. It's
9?
9 years.
Oh,
Yeah. And then there were several years of Meals on Wheels delivery before that. So, overall, it's been over 10.
10 years at the COA.
Yeah, it's,
Wow.
in one capacity or another. But as a board
9.
member, I think it's been close to 9 because it was 3 terms.
Wow.
It may not be a full 9, but I took over somebody's term. Joe might remember, but I don't remember who I took over, but I took over somebody else's term midstream. And it felt like it was close to almost a full term. It was at least 2 years and possibly into that 3rd year. So that's why it's like, it was between 8 and 9 years as an actual board member. So,
Can we bribe you to stay?
oh, no, but thank you.
She can't accept.
Thank you for that reminder, yes. No, it's actually been wonderful for me as well. So it's been, there's been a lot that I've learned. There's been a lot that I've taken from here to my own life. Part of the reason I had joined and wanted to participate was, my desire to help, seniors in my own life and seniors in general, and have a lot of people in my life that, are in this category. And give me a survey. I'll take a survey for sure. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to everybody else as well for the opportunity to be here with all of you. And I'm around.
We're gonna miss you.
I'm around.
We're gonna thank you and you.
So,
Chapter.
a new chapter. That's right. Old business, there's nothing really under old business we need to discuss. Does anyone have anybody remembered that we should? No? Okay. All right, so our next regular meeting will be July 8th here at the Senior Center at 11:30 in this room. And with no other questions or concerns, I will go ahead and adjourn at
Can we make a
12:30.
motion?
We can make a motion to adjourn. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right then. All in favor to adjourn? All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Good luck, Katie. Good luck, honey.